Driving in the United States is about to undergo its most significant shift in decades. A new set of federal guidelines, set to take effect in February 2026, establishes a nationwide framework that states must adopt into their own traffic laws. The goal, according to the Department of Transportation, is to standardize safety, adapt to new technology, and address evolving behaviors on the road. However, for the average driver, this translates into a new rulebook with strict penalties, hefty fines, and potential long-term financial consequences far beyond a simple traffic ticket. Ignorance of these laws will not be an excuse. The financial impacts are designed to be severe, acting as a strong deterrent. We're moving past the era of warnings and modest fines into a period of serious monetary penalties for violations. This isn't just about safety, it's a fundamental change in how compliance is enforced, with your bank account directly in the crosshairs. This comprehensive analysis will break down the 5 major new rules, explaining not just the letter of the law, but the real-world application, the exact penalty structures, and the hidden long-term costs that could derail your finances. Understanding these now is your only defense against costly surprises after February 2026. Rule change number 1. The universal hands-free mandate and device ceiling. This is not your state's existing hands-free law. The 2026 National Hands-Free Operating Standard eliminates all ambiguity. It is now a primary offense, meaning an officer can pull you over solely for this violation in every single state and territory. The specifics of the law. The law prohibits the physical holding of any mobile electronic device, phone, tablet, smartwatch, while operating a motor vehicle on any public road. This includes being stopped at a light or in traffic. The device must be secured in a mount or elsewhere where it is not in your hand. The law goes further by banning the manual input of data. This means no typing addresses into GPS, no scrolling through playlists, no texting, and no tapping on social media apps. Voice-to-text and voice-activated commands are the only permitted forms of interaction while the vehicle is in operation. The device ceiling provision, the big change. This is the most controversial and costly aspect. If an officer cites you for a hands-free violation and has probable cause to believe the device was being used manually, aka they see you typing, they are now authorized under the new federal guideline to implement a device sealing order as part of the citation. This does not mean they confiscate your phone. Instead, they issue a court order linked to your citation. You are required to appear in traffic court within 30 days. At that court appearance, you must provide detailed, certified screen time and usage logs from your device for the 15-minute period surrounding the time of the ticket. These logs must come directly from your device's operating system data or your mobile carrier. Failure to provide these logs, or if the logs confirm manual usage, triggers the next phase. The penalty structure, where costs explode. First offense, with compliant logs, or if you contest and lose, the base fine is set at a federal minimum of $350. However, the real cost is the mandatory installation of a driver compliance beacon. This is a small plug-in device for your car's OBD2 port under the dash that pairs with your phone via Bluetooth. It does not track location, but it monitors for Bluetooth connection disruptions and device movement indicative of handheld use while driving. You are responsible for the installation fee, approximately $75, and a monthly monitoring fee of $40 for a minimum of 6 months. Total first offense cost, fine $350, plus installation $75, plus monitoring $240 equals $665 minimum. Second offense, within 3 years, base fine increases to $750. The compliance beacon monitoring period extends to 18 months. Furthermore, your auto insurance provider is notified of the violation via a mandatory federal reporting system. This will trigger a high-risk tech violation surcharge on your policy, estimated to increase premiums by 40 to 60% for 3 years. The total cost over 3 years can easily exceed $5,000. Third offense, within 5 years, this becomes a misdemeanor traffic crime. Fines can reach $1,500, compliance beacon monitoring for 36 months, and a mandatory 30-day driver's license suspension. The insurance implications are catastrophic, potentially leading to non-renewal or premiums doubling. The financial bottom line. A single moment of weakness, picking up your phone to change a song, could trigger a chain of events costing you over $600 and subjecting you to 6 months of monitored driving. The system is designed to make the temporary convenience of touching your phone permanently expensive. Rule change number 2. The Protected Corridor Law for emergency and service vehicles. We all know to move over for stationary emergency vehicles. The 2026 Protected Corridor Law dramatically expands this concept to create a dynamic moving safe zone for any authorized vehicle with active flashing lights. This includes police, fire, ambulances, tow trucks, highway maintenance, and utility vehicles. The key difference? This now applies to vehicles that are moving at or below the speed of traffic, not just stopped. When you see such a vehicle with lights active in your lane or an adjacent lane ahead of you, you are required to change lanes away from the vehicle to create an empty buffer lane if it is safe to do so. If changing lanes is impossible due to traffic, you must reduce your speed to at least 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit until you have completely passed the vehicle and can safely create distance. The corridor exists from 200 feet behind the service vehicle to 200 feet in front of it. You must be slowing down or moving over before you enter this 400-foot zone. The penalty structure: zero tolerance fines. This is a zero-tolerance law. Arguments of "I didn't have space to move over" are invalid if you also fail to slow down sufficiently. First offense, a mandatory fine starting at $500, no warnings. Additionally, you will receive 4 points on your license. Most states currently assign 2 to 3 for moving violations. This significant point allocation is designed to immediately impact your insurance status. Second offense, fine of $1,000, a mandatory 90-day license suspension, and completion of an 8-hour roadway safety awareness course at your expense, approximately $200. Subsequent offenses escalate to criminal misdemeanor endangerment of a service provider, with fines up to $2,500, potential jail time up to 6 months, and license revocation for 1 year. The hidden financial cost. The immediate fine is just the beginning. 4 points on your license is a massive hit. Insurance companies see this as a severe violation indicative of poor situational awareness. An immediate premium increase of 30 to 50% is likely, and that increase will typically stay on your policy for 3 to 5 years. A single failure to slow down for a tow truck could cost you $2,000 to $4,000 in total premium hikes over that period, on top of the base fine and court costs. Rule change number 3, mandatory safe following distance enforcement via technology. Tailgating is one of the most common and dangerous driving behaviors. The 2026 law moves beyond subjective officer observation to an enforceable, measurable standard tied directly to your vehicle's speed. The specifics of the law. The law establishes a nationwide 3-second rule. Drivers must maintain a following distance of at least 3 seconds between their vehicle and the vehicle directly in front of them in the same lane. This is measured under normal, dry pavement conditions. The required distance increases to 4 seconds in wet weather and 6 seconds in icy or snowy conditions. Crucially, the law empowers law enforcement to use new, approved technology. This includes pacing. An officer using calibrated speed equipment can clock your speed and the speed of the car ahead, calculating the time gap. Stationary radar or LiDAR, With tracking, new systems can track two vehicles in sequence, calculating the gap. Dashcam video analysis. Increasingly, patrol car dashcams with advanced software can measure the time between two vehicles passing a fixed point. A violation occurs if you are measured at less than 2.5 seconds, allowing a slight margin of error in dry conditions. The penalty structure. A scalpel, not a sledgehammer, but still costly. The fines are progressive based on how egregiously you violate the space cushion. Violation 1, 2.0 to 2.49 second gap, considered a minor buffer violation. Fine, $150. Violation 2, 1.5 to 1.99 second gap, moderate buffer violation. Fine, $300 and 2 points on your license. Violation 3, less than 1.5 second gap, dangerous proximity violation. Fine, $600, 3 points on your license, and mandatory enrollment in an advanced space management defensive driving course, approximately $350. The aggressive driving multiplier if the tailgating is coupled with other aggressive behaviors, such as rapid lane changes, flashing headlights, or excessive speed. The officer can classify the entire incident as aggressive driving under the new federal standard. This elevates it to a misdemeanor with fines starting at $1,000, a mandatory 30-day license suspension, and potential vehicle impoundment. The insurance ramifications of an aggressive driving citation are severe, often leading to an immediate high-risk classification. The financial bottom line. The law creates a clear, ticketable threshold for what was once a hard-to-prove offense. A common habit of driving 1 or 2 seconds behind someone could now result in a steady stream of $300 tickets. The points add up quickly, leading to license suspension from point accumulation alone. Insurance companies will now have concrete data, violation codes for specific following distances, to justify premium increases for what they deem high-risk following behavior. Rule change number 4. The vulnerable road user legal presumption and enhanced penalties. This law fundamentally changes legal and financial liability in collisions involving non-vehicle road users. The specifics of the law defines vulnerable road users, or VRUs, as pedestrians, cyclists, motorcyclists, scooter users, wheelchair users, highway construction workers, and anyone on the shoulder outside a vehicle. It establishes a legal presumption of care in favor of the VRU in any incident. In practice, this means if your vehicle is involved in a collision with a VRU, the legal burden shifts significantly. You, the driver, are presumed to be at fault unless you can provide clear and convincing evidence to the contrary. Evidence like dashcam footage showing the VRU darting illegally into traffic is still valid, but the assumption starts against you. The law also lowers the threshold for violation. Actions that might have been considered a minor mistake before can now constitute failure to yield to a vulnerable road user, a specific, serious charge. The penalty structure. Catastrophic financial consequences. The penalties are severe and layered. Civil penalty, the ticket. A failure to yield to a VRU citation, even if no contact occurs, like you force a cyclist to swerve, carries a base fine of $750. If contact is made, resulting in property damage or minor injury, fines jump to $1,500. Criminal liability. If the VRU is injured, you will almost certainly be charged with a misdemeanor negligent injury. For serious injury, felony charges are far more likely under the new guidelines. Legal defense costs for these cases start in the tens of thousands of dollars. Civil liability. This is where financial ruin can occur. The law strengthens the VRU's position in a civil lawsuit for damages. Because of the presumption of care, winning the lawsuit becomes much harder for the driver. Judgments for medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering will be larger and more frequent. Standard auto liability limits, $50,000, $100,000, may be completely inadequate. Insurance impact. Any VRU-related violation or claim will trigger an immediate review of your policy. A single citation can triple your premiums. An at-fault injury accident will likely make you uninsurable through standard carriers, forcing you into a high-risk assigned risk pool with astronomical costs for years. The financial bottom line? This rule is less about a simple fine and more about exposing drivers to existential financial risk. A momentary lapse in attention near a crosswalk or a cyclist could lead to a lawsuit that exceeds your insurance coverage, putting your personal assets, your savings, your home, at risk. The cost of increasing your liability insurance to $1 million umbrella coverage will be far cheaper than the potential alternative. Rule change number 5. Digital driver's license and real-time insurance verification mandate. This change modernizes enforcement and closes long-standing loopholes, creating a seamless system for immediate violation detection. The specifics of the law: by February 2026, all drivers must have a state-issued digital driver's license accessible via an official state app on their smartphone. A physical card will still be issued, but the digital version is the primary legal document. More critically, your digital license will be linked in real time to your vehicle registration and, most importantly, your auto insurance policy through a national verification hub. During a traffic stop, when an officer scans your digital license or inputs the number, they will instantly receive a status readout: license status, valid, suspended; vehicle registration status, real-time insurance status, a green check for valid, active coverage, or a red flag for lapsed, canceled, or insufficient coverage. The penalty structure: eliminating the no insurance gamble. The system is designed to make driving without insurance virtually impossible to hide. Driving without valid insurance, real-time lapse, is now a primary offense with instant detection. The penalty is an immediate $1,000 fine and automatic vehicle impoundment. To retrieve your vehicle, you must provide proof of new insurance, which will be verified, pay all towing and daily storage fees, easily $500, and pay a $250 release fee. Driving with a fake insurance card or non-verified insurance policy in the national hub is now a separate crime: fraudulent presentation of financial responsibility. This is a Class B misdemeanor, punishable by fines up to $2,500, up to 6 months in jail, and mandatory driver's license suspension for 1 year. The continuous coverage rule. The law also introduces a continuous coverage rule. If your insurance lapses for more than 48 hours for non-payment, cancellation, etc., the state DMV is automatically notified. Your vehicle registration is immediately suspended. Driving a vehicle with a suspended registration carries another $500 fine. To reinstate registration, you must show new insurance and pay a $400 reinstatement fee. The financial bottom line? This system removes all grace periods and excuses. A missed insurance payment that leads to a cancellation could, within days, result in over $2,000 in fines, fees, and impoundment costs before you even get your car back. Furthermore, a lapse or violation makes you a high-risk insured, guaranteeing your future premiums will be among the highest possible for a minimum of 5 years. The financial safety net of letting insurance slide for a week is completely gone. Conclusion: the new financial reality of driving. The February 2026 changes mark a deliberate and strategic shift. Driving is no longer being treated as a simple privilege with modest fines for common infractions. It is being treated as a high-stakes activity where non-compliance carries immediate, severe, and sustained financial consequences. The common thread through all 5 rules is the creation of a direct, painful, and often long-term financial feedback loop for violations. It moves beyond the ticket. 1. Instant high-dollar fines. Base fines start high and escalate quickly. 2. Mandatory technology and monitoring. Violations force you to buy and install monitoring devices. 3. Points and license suspension. The point allocations are designed to push drivers quickly towards suspension thresholds. 4. Automatic insurance reporting. Every significant violation triggers a flag to your insurer, bypassing the old system where minor tickets might go unnoticed. 5. Skyrocketing insurance premiums. This is the long-term, big money cost. A single violation can increase your annual premium by hundreds or thousands of dollars for 3 to 5 years. Multiple violations can make you virtually uninsurable. Your strategy must change. Invest in a solid phone mount and use voice commands exclusively. Cultivate extreme patience and space around emergency vehicles and other road users. Religiously maintain the 3-second rule. Treat every pedestrian and cyclist with the caution you would afford a police cruiser. And above all, do not let your insurance lapse for even a moment. The margin for error has vanished. The cost of a mistake has been recalibrated, and it is calibrated against your financial well-being. The rules are coming. Prepare now or pay, literally, later.